Yeah, because what's for you is for you.
Oh,
So,
that's what we. That's like that should be put on a T-shirt for I
hmm
guess like anybody in the entertainment industry, especially I feel like actors because we say that a lot.
yeah,
Try and be happy for the people that book something that you thought you did really well at. Be happy for them because what for you is for you, and what's for them is for them because you whatever you just recently booked, somebody else is thinking that same thing.
oh no,
Yup.
they don't get it. It's okay. We get
And I was like, yes, Lord, come on with the cancellations.
Whew, we going in and now just kidding.
it.
You know, I don't know if you know this, but I'm black. Am I good? You know,
He's with the best of them, and he's one of my favorite men to cut the apple side.
That entrance sounds like much more than who I actually am.
My guest of honor is always well lit because she radiates light everywhere she goes. She's a Christian and a member of Zion Missionary Baptist Church in Como, Texas, where she grew up for most of her life. She graduated from Stephen F. Austin State University with a Bachelor's of Science degree in fashion merchandising, and she minored in marketing. Over the past 5 years, she has been a working actress. She has landed print, feature film, and commercial roles such as Main Event, Nebraska Furniture Mart, Reliant Energy, and many more. She received an invitation to join the SAG-AFTRA union 2 years ago, which is a huge accomplishment. She has mastered the art of playing other characters, but she has also found a way to stay true to herself throughout the process. Although her career is taking off, no job in the world is more important than being a mother to her beautiful 8-year-old daughter. She's resilient, beautiful, and she's coming to a screen near you. Today, my guest of honor is Traci Burst. How are you doing?
Good. Hey, how's it going?
It's good. It's good. Trying to stay clean and you know all
Man,
this
is that not
madness
the
going
truth?
on.
Yes.
How has quarantining been for you?
Interesting. It's literally like hills and valleys, ups and downs, good things, bad things. But then, I can honestly say it hasn't been that bad to me.
Well,
So,
that's a blessing. That
yeah.
is definitely a blessing. I feel like this time has shown us like how precious life is, and going through the peaks and valleys is just life in general. So I
I
think it's
know.
definitely
Yeah.
reaffirmed that for us this year.
It's like a little twist on it. It's like a little something extra on it on top of everyday else, but
I just been saying it's the ultimate plot twist.
yeah, basically.
The ultimate plot twist. Well, as we just stated, life has a lot of highs and lows, and we all had to overcome so many things to get to where we are now. So, could you tell me a little bit about your journey?
Whew. Well, you know what? I saw someone post after they had just received their degree, like a kid from Como, which I love that. I should have got that shirt. That just popped in my head when I'm like, let me tell you about me. I am from Como. I know most people, they look at me like, you? And I'm like, yeah, me. I can name you plenty of streets and some of them in order.
hmm
But I was the first out of my mom's family to graduate from college, and I'm not going to say that that was easy at the beginning. It was scary, but honestly, I felt like I pushed through. Not even because I was aware of just trying to break cycles. I was doing it for my mom.
Yeah.
So if anything else, I was like, I'm gonna go to school for my mom. I don't know what I want to do, but that's what I'm gonna do. And it was the best decision I could have ever made was to do that. And just her being a strong single mother. My dad died when I was like one, so she raised 3 kids for the most part, and while being sick. So I learned a lot of my street smarts and just stuff that you can't learn by going to school from my mom and then growing up with her. And so when I got to college, everything was like on a plan and on a track and what I had to do to get through it. And it just made me the person I am today. So I have to give that all to her. And then when I discovered the gift from God, because without him and my mom, I couldn't tell you that's why I am who I am today. Of course, life experiences give you lessons throughout your life, but it was really what I did my reaction to all of those things um, improved, and in the back of my mind, always, um, I guess, held a spot to be able to thank my mom for for the decisions that I've made, and because of God. So graduating from college and then having my daughter at what people, I guess, I mean, I still call it a young age, even though I had her after I graduated college,
Mm-hmm.
because I was still, out there trying to YOLO a little bit. I mean, at the time, that's what I was like, woo, party, party. But I was like, 22 is when I had her. And so then she opened me up to a whole nother level of life experience. So you got growing up, college, then becoming a mother, then trying to put two imperfect people to try and make a relationship co-parent and work with a child. You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
there was a lot of like a lot of trials. And I feel like I have persevered, and that's literally because along that journey I gave it all to God. And so, and I'm not trying to say it just gets like boom bam easy right now, all the answers. It's a process, you know, but it's contributed to the strong willed person that I am already, or that I was, that I learned from my mom. So that's,
Absolutely.
yeah.
That's why I had to make sure I put in there that she's resilient.
Thank
That's the
you.
truth.
Yeah.
The
Thank you.
absolute truth. Um, let's talk about college real quick. How did you choose your major? Did you change it a couple of times, or did you go in knowing that that's what you wanted to study? She started laughing.
Woo. Okay, because man, okay, so I had a partial scholarship offer for me for volleyball for Texas Wesleyan. And I
Okay.
was like, I don't want to go to no school in the same city where I grew up. Stupid. Don't do that, children. You put all that hard work in it, you better go for it. And then I had another coach wanting me to walk on at Midlothian. Both of those I turned down. My mom was sick to her stomach. Okay, she don't want to do that. I'm gonna go to Stephen F. Austin because that's where everybody else that I know is going. Whatever, whatever. So I got there and I had no idea what I wanted to do. And my advisors were like, it's okay to be undecided. And I'm thinking to myself, well, I want to, me, I want to be now. Like, I want to know right now what I want. But, my professors told me it was okay, take a few of your basics. But once you get some of those basics out of the way, you're going to have to start trying to figure out what you want to do next. And, it's so strange because advisors I feel like they are there to advise in a way people that already kind of have an idea how it works. I had
Yeah.
no idea how it works. I had no idea, not a clue. And so I knew that honestly, I liked the deaf community. I knew I wanted to do something like that, but I didn't know what that was. And so after taking a few classes, I actually did start taking courses for to be in something dealing with kids with special needs. And the more I got through that, I was just like, this is not gonna be for me. I don't want to and it's so sad because now I'm 32, and if I went back to school, which I have before, I could kill it and focus. But I was 18 years old trying to figure out what I wanted to do. In hindsight, you're just like, what?
Right.
But I quickly got out of that major. I didn't even really waste much time. I think I took 2 courses that were just whatever. They threw them away because it didn't matter. And I said, you know what? I got to do what I love to do, which is fashion. And I love people. And that's what I knew at that moment. I knew I like fashion and I like people. And that is how I knew. I said, if I have to change it later, cool. But as of right now, that is what I know since I have to pick something. And that's why I picked fashion merchandising.
That's a good major though, because the skills that you learn can transfer. So you chose a good major actually,
Yeah.
and then you
Thank
minored
you.
in marketing. So
Uh,
that's broad.
it is. And the crazy thing, it wasn't even until I got to my marketing classes that all of my marketing teachers were like, what's your major? And I'm like, fashion. They're like, oh, you should have chose marketing. And I'm like, I guess I should have chose marketing because, I don't know. I think my communications teacher, she thought I was amazing. Sports marketing, I did okay. But all the other classes and things, they were just like, you're really good at speaking and talking with people and demanding attention in the room. You should have did that. And I'm like, well, now you tell me I have half a semester left. This is it. I'm out. Like,
Michael
I'm
Jackson,
out.
this is it. For real
I'm
though.
out.
They could have definitely told you earlier and been like, I think you would be great at this.
Man.
But some teachers don't really see it until it's too late, or some of them just don't care about telling you anyway. So to be honest, it's a couple of professors that are like that. So they there for
I
that
end up
money.
having some good ones, even with taking some minor classes. I mean, not minor classes, but taking, you have to take a language class and you have to take the same language 2 years in a row. They don't let you switch them up. I took American Sign Language, and it wasn't until I got to my second professor that was like thinking I grew up around someone deaf, because he's like, you're so natural at it. Why don't you stay another semester and double minor or double major or something? And I was like, I'm paying for school on my own. So, but yeah, you got some good professors out there that really, take the time, like you said, to tell you what it is you do better on, and the things that they're like, man, you're good, or you seem like you'd be good in this industry. And then you got the ones that are just like, look, pass or fail, get out of here, But
for real though, I think God definitely sends messengers. So
yeah,
we thank God for the ones who do share the message.
Absolutely.
Do you feel like you use everything that you learned in school, like the skill sets? Do you feel like you use them today?
Honestly, most of them. For what when you do fashion, they make you do everything. The basic math you'll need if you want to become a buyer, etiquette. I can't tell you how many etiquette classes I've taken. Like, I mean, one personally in my own like early years when I thought I wanted to model. Goodness gracious, nothing against models. It's not me. But I had to take etiquette for that. I took etiquette in a marketing class, and I took etiquette for a fashion class. And I'm like, I need to teach the etiquette class, okay?
Yeah.
But you'd be surprised at how many people just don't know how to be business professionals. And something like etiquette and eating at dinner or excusing yourself or just customary things when you're dealing with someone that's of a different culture, that stuff actually, helps to know that, or the basic math. If you kept any of your books, like I want to start a business of my own in the next 2 years, e-com and, brick and mortar mixed together, kind of like a showroom style of fashion. I had to go back to like, okay, Traci, you had to make a business plan for like your last semester. You need to whip them old notes out or wherever they are, your book. And it's stuff like once you start doing it, you're like, oh, I remember doing this in school. Like, so yeah, for fashion, I think a lot of that stuff applies if you go that direction. I learned a lot of that there, and it did help me in my career for sure.
Absolutely. I can see how that definitely can help. And yes, you definitely should start that business.
Thank you. I'm working on it, girl. I'm working.
But so tell me how you got into the world of acting.
Well, you know what? I think when I was younger, I thought I wanted to model, like, oh, Miss model this, and like, but when I start like training for runway and stuff like that, I'm like, I can do it, but it's not enough. It's not fulfilling enough. And I kind of just got to that mindset when I went to college. And, when I was in college, I was like, I'm going to pick my career. And then after I graduate from college, I'm going to get into acting, because everyone keeps saying, like, it's really the people and my friends that have been the biggest encouragers. Like, your personality is so big, or you are crazy, or you're outgoing, or you just do, you're just like a light, like just, I don't know, like, I just think, I'm like, I'm just crazy. Sometimes I just do random stuff, or it's just me. I'm pretty goofy too. So, and I think people feel that energy, and they're like, you should like model or something because you're so pretty. The pretty part is so weird. People might not believe this, but like I cringe because I'm just like, oh, like don't call, like that's, thank you for a compliment. I think this guy best put it, like, just accept the compliment. It's okay. But I have a hard time doing that because I don't know. It just feels weird. Like I said, I don't like a lot of like spot on, like modeling attention, that kind of thing. And when somebody compliments me, I feel like, boom, now all attention is on you. And you're like, okay, if they stare at me too long, they're going to see this pimple that's growing right here, you know? I'm flawed, you know, but that's how I was. So when people would be like, you're so pretty and this and that, and like, you know, you're such a light, you should be an actor. I'm like, yeah, the pretty part, I don't really care about that, but thank you. But to be told that your personality is likable and like you should be on the big screen, after I heard it enough, I was like, maybe I should give it a try. You know, if people are telling me I have this personality, maybe I should do that. And so afterwards, which baby came first, Dawson came first. But literally, I think she was 3. She's about to be 9. So I guess when she was like 4, I was like, I'm going after it. I'm just gonna connect with somebody that I know that's an actor already. And honestly, that's how I got started. I just started putting in that training work and then got some professional headshots and started submitting it to agencies like over and over for like a year and a half. Every 3 months, I would send out my headshot and resume to the same people.
Well, it's working because you're working, so it's working. So, first of all, I love her name. I think it's so dope when girls have names that are interchangeable. So I love Dawson. That's beautiful. I want to know what she thinks about your life as an actress. Like, does she like the idea that you're on TV?
She do. At first, I think she was like, "What are you talking about?" Like, my mom is an actress. Like, it didn't even click to her until she saw some of my commercials, and she's like, "That's you!" Like, then she gets excited, you know. But now she's elevated. Okay, excuse Miss Bougie. She is elevated. She's like, another commercial. She's like, when are you gonna do a film?
I'm working on it.
Yeah, right. I'm like, you know, it's gonna have to take some time. People have to be in this game. Not have to be, but people are in this game for 10 years.
For years, yeah.
I'm only 5 years in. Okay, give me a break. And so she gets excited about it. I think now she's like, great, if you get a commercial and I get to see you in it, cool. But she has been helping me tape for my film auditions. I get auditions for Netflix or Showtime or HBO, some Tyler Perry, you know, just because you get a ton of auditions. A lot of my friends that are actors too, we don't share a lot when we go on auditions. It's more so when we book. Because we know we go on a ton of auditions. That doesn't mean anything. You got to book it, you know. So she reads for me on the other side of the camera, and I have to tell her, you know, be as dry as you want to be because, honey, they're not listening to you. I love you. They're not paying attention to you. They're paying attention to me. So she wants to get all into the character and make it dramatic. And I'm like, Dawson, just read the lines.
But you grooming her low key. She might be next up.
You just said it too. I mean, like her watching me. Her dad used to help me do my recordings. But her watching that and then saying, I want to help too, then I start letting her read and we're a team. Like it's set up great. And so now that she's doing it, I'm like, you know what? I think I'm going to let her start taking some training next year in February and get her headshots and we'll see where that goes. I don't want to overwhelm her because she has sports and dance that she loves. So I'm like, let's take it a little bit at a time. But absolutely, she's ready for that. Yeah, I'm like mommy's chauffeur.
I love that you're not afraid to be yourself and you're showing her that. So that's going to transfer very well for her later on.
Thank you.
So let me ask you about the time when you got your first gig. How did that feel and what was your first gig as an actress?
Scary.
Yeah.
I'll tell you 2 quick combo of ones. One, my first gig was before my agent with Movie Tavern. I was paired up with a guy to look like my boyfriend. And every time Movie Tavern shows that, people are like, "Ooh, girl." I'm like, no. Y'all, come on. He's an actor. I'm an actor. This is what we do. He's not my real man, you know? So that's always funny. Every Valentine's I see that. But my first one was with when I was with the Linicum agency, and I'm trying to remember. It was Main Event. Yeah, it was with Main Event. I was a little nervous because I didn't know what to expect on set. I was like, okay, are they gonna tell me when to start back over? When I go back to point A and then I walk over to point B? Or like all in my head. And I'm like, okay, Tracy, that at that moment when you start freaking out about stuff like that, you have to be like, let me think back to training. When you took
Mm-hmm.
this acting for commercials workshop, just get back to that, and you got to work it like you know it. Even if they don't think you know, it's your first gig. I never told them that on set that this was my first gig, but I'm sure they could tell when they saw come time for lunch, I was way at the end of the line, and they were like, actors go to the front. And I'm like, oh, that's me, right? Because I'm not like that in real life.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to be like, can you excuse me? I'm like, oh, okay, I can come through. Thank you. But I was really nervous. I mean, I'm talking sweating. It was fun. It was fun. And it was kind of like, wow, I'm here. Like my first gig in the books, I'm here. And I started to realize more and more on that set, like what people try to make things seem like, how actors are and like how they're snooty. And you do meet some of that. You get some that you just be like, try being a little nicer to people around
Yeah.
you. You do get that. And then some of them are just like me, where you're just like, yeah, everything is cool. What do you need? Do you need help with something? Even though it's not my job, but it was exciting. It was scary, I will say, more than exciting. But I did it, and it was fun. It was fun. And actually, the little girl that I was in the commercial with is a Kids Bop kid.
Wow.
She moved to LA a couple
if you
years
can
ago.
land that, if you land Kids Bop, you good.
I know,
real.
and she's so cute, and she's so cute. Her name is Elena, but she moved to LA a couple years ago because she signed the contract and she made it. She got on Kids Bop. I'm like, look at my fake TV daughter.
That's amazing.
Thing.
Look at her growing up on us.
I know. It's so sad too because she was so little when we did that. Now I'm like, look at her now. She just
you just flourishing.
Blooming. I know. But yeah.
Well, let me ask you how your spirituality and your religion plays a role in what you choose to try to go after.
Okay, so I will say that I don't I've only turned down one thing and it was because of that. I'm a person that's really transparent, I'll be honest. So I'm like, I have my Facebook world and I have my Instagram world. Everybody that's on my Facebook is not on my Instagram, and everybody that's on my Instagram not on my Facebook. And so a lot of my church family and people that I've grown up knowing is on my Facebook. Now, I really don't ever post anything inappropriate anyway. My thoughts and my opinions are mine, and I try to censor myself as much as possible and still be true to who I am, because I don't want people to think that Christians think we're perfect, because we're not. But I do, if for the most part, anything that I post on Instagram, if it's more sexier because I did a shoot with someone and it's lingerie, but it's tasteful, like Victoria's Secret lingerie, even if it's tasteful, I still don't post it on Facebook because I'm that private of a person when I know who's all there. And this platform is more for younger people that, are open, not saying like they're closed-minded, but just more open, and it's different, right? So I take that as the same thing like with acting. So my agent was respectful enough to be like, hey, there's a show and they want you to audition for it. And I was like, you never asked me, you never asked me, do I want to audition for something? Because agents are like, you going for this. Go, 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 go. You hardly can decline an audition. And so I was like, well, what's wrong? Because you asked me. And she was like, well, it's kind of like power. And I was like, ooh, I don't know. Because, power got a lot of sex, drugs, money. I was like, I've seen a few episodes. No, I think I'm going to have to pass. And she was like, that's okay. And I told her, as I tried to explain, for one, because I don't feel like I have to do that kind of stuff to get out there, because I don't. And number two, there are some things, because of my religion, I don't want to push it to that limit. I can't. Now, if we're talking about a movie where they're showing true love or intimacy and it's implied, not just straight up nudity, it has to be implied nudity, meaning like they shooting me bareback, but I really have on shorts. You know what I mean? And it's just my back. Stuff like that is implied. I'm okay with that. but if it's in the right setting. I don't want to be really necessarily a part of something that has drugs, money, and alcohol all involved with it. It's like the message of it is too much for me.
Yeah.
And I don't judge people for taking those roles. I take it audition by audition, whether I want to do it or not. I have to know the details of it and the plot, and I have to know what's my involvement in this plot of the story. Now, it could be a movie or a TV show about drugs, money, alcohol, and maybe my family's just inserted into that movie and there's something, a scene between me and my husband, then we're talking something different. But
Mm-hmm.
if I'm with the drug lord and you want to show us doing crazy stuff, I can't do that.
Hard pass.
So yeah, hard pass. So there is a limit. There's a limit, and so for me, that's it. And there are roles that I don't feel comfortable playing, like roles where women are being abused in a manner. Those are just things that I can't stomach.
Yeah.
So I've passed up stuff like that too. Plenty of like victim kind of things where if I have to portray that in a very violent kind of way, I can't do it. It's not on my heart to do it. And there are some people that are like, I love that dramatic stuff. I can play that, but me, I can't.
And that's okay. I'm glad that you know that about yourself, honestly, because some people, they get so caught up in, I want to be out there. This is my dream. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I'm going to try everything and see what sticks.
Yeah.
No. Your morals have to come into play. Yeah, you got to have a line. So what advice would you give someone that's trying to figure out who they are, like to set boundaries for themselves and allow themselves to understand who they are?
Well, for one, I would tell them to pray, to be honest, to pray to God, to ask for, just clarity on who they are, and to just always try 100% to be to be themselves. Mm-hmm. Because at the end of the day, you have to be happy about the work that you've done, right? Mm-hmm. And honestly, usually if something doesn't sit well in your soul, then you probably shouldn't be doing it. And my words to them were to be, I point out plenty of people that didn't have to do those things. Sandra Bullock, Julia Roberts, even Julia Roberts, and she played in Pretty Woman as a prostitute, but I think you saw her bare back, and that was it. Yeah. Even in a movie like that, she had it's to me, honestly, I look at it as my self-worth. I don't want to do that. I don't have to do that. If I want to do it, it must be for a certain reason, depending on, what's the message in the movie. But, you can look at people like that, and Zoe Saldana and all of those people, and they didn't really have to do that. Now, you do have other people that are successful that have decided to do something. But honestly, when I think about it, it was implied. It's all implied, and it wasn't something taking it too far. So I feel like with younger people that have asked me this question, because I felt like I was them thinking in my head when I turned down that Showtime audition, like, dang, do I really want to do that? If I got to ask this many people, I probably shouldn't be doing it. And so that's my advice to them. Like, if you have to ask even just me or anybody, I'm glad you're asking someone. But for younger ones, I have to give them that list of, look at all these successful women that didn't do that.
Yeah.
So that should let you know an opportunity will come your way. And it's about focusing on your craft and your lane. If you're good, you're just good, and opportunity will come your way. If you're hustling and you're working on your craft and you're training and you're putting stuff out there and you're getting involved and you're networking, people will know you. You will get opportunities. You can turn down something and it won't be the end of the world. And that's what I had to understand my first 2 years. And it was rough because, like you said, you'd be like, am I passing up an opportunity in my lifetime? Am I ever going to do something else? Blah, blah, blah. I mean, you will say all of those things. And afterwards, when I look back, I just be like, why did I stress about that? Why was I worried about that? Like, nah, too many opportunities have come since then.
Yeah, because what's for you is for you.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so, that's what we put on a T-shirt for, I guess, like anybody in the entertainment industry, especially I feel like actors, because we say that a lot.
Yeah.
Try and be happy for the people that book something that you thought you did really well at. Be happy for them, because what's for you is for you, and what's for them is for them, because whatever you just recently booked, somebody else is thinking that same thing, and it was
Yeah.
for you, right?
Mhm.
So that's something that actors say a lot. Like, what's for you is for you.
Yeah,
So,
and the good thing about it is, like, just because they booked it doesn't take anything away from you either. Because
mm-mm.
if you did well, those casting agents and all of them are gonna know. They're gonna remember you too, like for future
Yeah,
references. So let me ask you this: how do you define success? Like, what is success for Tracy?
I can give you an example of what I'm feeling because sometimes I can't really. It doesn't come across the way I wanted to.
Mhm.
I think success is whatever it is that you had in mind, whatever goals you set, whether you're there yet or you're striving to get there or you're marking off stuff on your list of what you need to do to get things done and you get to that ultimate place that you want to be. As long as you're getting there and everything that you set to do short term has happened, I think that's your success measured right there.
Mhm.
I think people compare themselves too much to other people. Whew.
Yeah.
And so it's like I always tell people you can use that someone as a reference if
Mhm.
you want to say that. And that's kind of cutting it close because you're still comparing yourself. I'd hear, like let's say for instance, I heard a friend of mine say last week, you know, well, all she's done, is X, Y, Z, this, that, and the third. And I'm like, well, how do you know that's not her measure of success?
Yeah.
You want the big house, the expensive car, work at the corporate office and do X, Y, Z. How do you know that's not what she wanted to do with her life? So she is successful for her,
Mhm.
providing for her family, for herself, for this, that, and the third. So I always tell people, like my close friends, when we get, because we kind of sit around and we talk, and then I feel like if it's not me, another one of my friends will be like, okay, let's bring ourselves back down.
Mhm.
How do you, it's always that. How do you know that that's not what this person wanted or this, that, and the third? That's the best way that I can explain it. It's success is what you say it is. If you haven't given up and you're striving to continue to do what you feel like you need to get to that goal that you set for yourself, and you've knocked out some of your short-term goals to help you get there to your long-term goal, then I would say you're successful. I think
Yeah.
we are very impatient people, and I think that we think success happens overnight, which
Huh.
is does not.
It happens over a night, but there's a lot of nights in between that one night.
I know, I know. So yeah, that's how I feel about success. So
Well, I'm glad that you have a group of friends that will bring you down if need be, that will be honest with you, because I truly
hmm
believe that your circle plays a huge role in like your progression and like your
yeah.
mindset overall. So, what are your 5 non-negotiables when it comes to friendships and relationships?
Ooh, 5 non-negotiables. I would have to say, transparency. So yeah, you got to be honest with me. We're gonna have to keep it 100 all the time,
Mhm.
right? So that's non-negotiable. I would have to say, someone that can reciprocate my friendship.
Mhm.
Um, you got to do, not you got to, but I would hope that you would be just as good a friend to me as I am to you.
Yeah.
I say that all the time about my friend. I think Jocelyn Walker, used to be Freeman.
Yeah.
But I tell her all the time, like, dang man, I have to tell her straight up. One of my friends, and she's not the only one that I have to be like, you check on me every 3 weeks, and I don't do it enough. And I just want to tell you thank you for that, and I want to say sorry. And she'd be like, no, it's cool, girl. I know everybody busy. I'm like, but I have to tell you that I care.
Mhm.
But so honesty, it has to be equal reciprocation. You have to be here to support me. So support, because I'm going
Mhm.
to support you, whether that's a new business venture, divorces, emotional situations. So yeah, support is a big thing. Someone that can have an open mind. My
Mhm.
friends have got to have open minds. Um, and they have to be confident in themselves, because, and I'm not saying that if someone lacks confidence now, they can't have it later. Um, because I do like to build up women, especially women of low self-esteem. But when I say about you have to have a confidence about you, because I've had friends in my circle where I felt like I had to dim my light to make you look like you shine, I guess. But
Mhm.
in reality, I'm just being who I am. But being who I am was too much for them because the chances that I would take. And
Mhm.
I think sometimes with that particular friendships that I've had, they just lack the confidence to try new things, to be willing to do it. And I'm really like, let's just do it, you know. And so yeah, I need friends that are gonna be confident and open minded to hearing the truth, transparency about, how I'm feeling if I feel like we keep hitting the wall with each other in our relationship and our friendship. I think we just got to be open minded and honest. So yeah, all of those things.
Absolutely. Would you say that those are steps that you took to become more secure in yourself? Like those same 5 things that you require from your friends? Do you feel like that's something that you had to put within yourself to be secure?
Girl, everything but the confidence part. I think I've always been confident. I don't know. But the other things, absolutely. I learned how to be a good friend from my friend Jocelyn. I learned how to be a good friend from my friend Ashley, and I learned how to be a good friend from my friend Erica,
Hmm.
because they literally would check in on me, or they would just like I don't know, I've been friends with some of them I named for 10 years or longer, but one of them I just so happened to be like, why is she doing this? Like it was a new friendship. She's probably one of my actually, yeah, she's one of my newest. All those other girls I've been friends with for 10 years. So my friend Erica, I met working at an old company I worked for. It wasn't until I became friends with her that I was like, I wonder have I been a crappy friend to my other friends now that
Hmm.
I've met this girl, 6 years ago. Cause she's calling to me, she's asking, do I want to do this? Do I need to drop down? Like it was just things that I was just like, why is she such a nice person? Like I knew I was a nice person, but maybe I wasn't as good of a friend as I thought I was because if this is what it looks like, wow, because all
Yeah.
my other friends live in Arlington, Dallas, or Austin. So we can't just see each other and they can't offer to do those kind of things, even though they check up on me. But this friend was
Hmm.
close by and it was just like, whoa, I haven't had that. And so it was because of her that I started being good friends to my other friends around me. So yeah, like maybe I wasn't reciprocating that before, but she made me aware of that. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
I think that I've always been honest with them. So honesty has never been a problem for me. I guess what I would add in there is compassion.
Yeah.
So if I want to switch out my confidence, the 5 things, because I feel like I've always had confidence, it would be that I've gained to be compassionate with people when I talk. Because sometimes when I talk, it's too hard to paint,
Yeah.
and it might come off like, why are you sounding maybe kind of rude, or why do it sound like you care about me? I know you care about me, but I feel like you judging me and you coming down too hard.
Yeah.
I've gotten that even from my sister. So several people telling me that, and then it finally took someone to treat me that way that I was like, huh, is that how I come off to people? Like my
Hmm.
close friends, when I'm loving them so hard that I just want them to get this right, or tell them how they are, or this is how you can fix it and save better, get your investments right. I'm like, whoa, it took someone to talk to me without compassion, even though I knew they cared. But I was kind
Hmm.
of like, excuse you? I was like, dang, am I coming off like that to my friends? So yeah, I mean, you kind of, I feel like sometimes that karma comes back around where guys are like, remember when you said this and two people try to tell you that you were kind of sounding like this, even though they knew you were coming from a good place. You need to
Hmm.
talk with compassion, just a little bit more compassion, and be a little bit more sensitive to other people's feelings. And so those friendships weren't lost because of that, but it just helped me to realize. So yeah, I would switch all of those things out, but I have went through, but I would add on compassion.
That's a huge one. That is a huge one. Tell me what role your sister plays in your life. How has she impacted your life?
My sister and me, you know, we have gotten closer than ever.
Hmm.
So the role my sister has played is almost like, because she only 2 years older than me, so whatever, two and a half, two and a half. But we've kind of just honestly leaned on each other. I think we've impacted each other just because we grew up, we always butted heads and everything. But when my mom passed away in 2012, I had just had my daughter. She's only 8 months. And me and my sister at that point, we were like, we all we got. Our brother is incarcerated. He's
Hmm.
been in since he was 19. So it's been literally just me and my sister. And
Mm.
so I think we started to get our ish together,
Yeah.
like the bickering, the whatever it is, it's like, that's a wrap,
Yeah.
and wishing that we could have, we've always been close. And I think we've just gotten closer since my mom has been gone. But the kind of impact my sister's had on my life is that she is all for me.
Mhm.
She is like one of my biggest cheerleaders. So she will shout me out, share my videos, share headshots, um, posting, here's my little sister. Like, she will do all of it for me. And if I tell her I want to move to LA, and if I told her I want to move to LA in 3 months, she'd be like, okay, Dawson gonna be with us for a little bit until you get it figured out. It wouldn't be no question. Like,
Mhm.
she would just do that. And she would offer that, or she would encourage me that, Traci, this is temporary. I know you feel weird because some things are shifting in your life, but whatever you got to do, if I tell her what it is, depending on what it is, she'll be like, I think you should go for it. This is what you really want to do. She's kind of who I basically go to after I pray for a while,
Mhm.
and I'll just to ask her your opinion. Like, I'm giving it to God, but I want to know what you think. And my sister is always going to be my biggest cheerleader, but she'll keep it real with me. She'll say, okay, let's weigh out the pros and cons. Like, let's think this through realistically.
Yeah.
And so, and she's kind of trying to fill in my mom role, so she kind of worries a little bit, what I'm saying, a little bit. So I got that going too. But yeah, my sister, she's there for me 100%.
That's such a blessing.
Yeah,
So I'm glad
it
that y'all
is.
have y'all's relationship tight and that y'all are really each other's supporters because it's
Mm.
real out here in these streets. There are siblings that do not
Whew,
talk to each other. So I'm very
I
happy
heard
to hear
that.
that.
Yeah.
If you had to give someone advice on how important it is to be true to yourself, what would you say?
Oh man, there's like a saying, everybody else is taken, so you should just be yourself. You can only be yourself because everybody else is taken. So it goes something like that, but it's too hard trying to be like everybody else.
It is.
I don't even know how to say it. I literally, nowadays I feel like the kids have a very hard time with self identity, where
Yeah.
they fit in, and bullying and things like that. Um, Even as adults, we get on Instagram, and when you're in the industry, you have your own podcast. Shout out to you,
Thank
for
you.
that. That's amazing. But it's hard because you have competition. Whatever your lane is that you're in, there's competition out there. And so what's going to set you apart is you being you. You cannot try to be like someone else, because I think that will shine through.
Yeah.
So literally what helps me is sometimes when I get either overwhelmed, or sometimes I get a little blah, like in a blah mood, I literally have to pray. I have daily devotional every day, but I ask God before auditions, before interviews, before I post some content on my IG.
Mhm.
That's why I don't post a lot. I'm trying to get better at that, but I'm not great at that, because I have to post something and something has to speak to me, and I have to have some words to say.
I
Right? I just
understand.
can't spew. Yeah, I can't just spew out anything, because that's not me. I was a point in time where I was trying to just spew out everything because that's what everybody else does.
Right.
And then when you realize, man, this is a lot of work, and it's not because of the work, it just don't feel genuine, right? So
Yeah.
if it doesn't feel genuine to me, I don't do it anymore. And it took months of me just really, when I got off of social media for a month, all social media, and I took a hiatus from acting. I used
Mhm.
that time every day, several days, to pray. And I actually prayed to ask God to please allow me to be myself, be 100% true to myself, and to be true to Him. And
Mhm.
then I would pray just for understanding of my own mind, and to allow His words to meditate through my mind and my body throughout the whole day, if I could
Yeah.
keep that going. Because it takes a lot. I know people think that's mojo, whatever, but it's so true. Like, you have to think it, believe it, feel it, and be in tune with your body and your mind, and your spirituality. And you have to come to a point where you're just like, I cannot try to keep up with, and it's not even keeping up with the Joneses material things. It's just trying to keep up,
Yeah.
because there's so many platforms in this world when it comes to your careers, whether you're a CPA or you an actor. I mean, there are things that, when it comes to, I guess, being social, it's getting harder. I
Yeah.
think, and people are losing themselves. Don't do that. That's my advice to people, is to hone in on who you are and keep saying that. Whether you have to write down stuff, say a prayer in the morning, light some sage, whatever you do,
Hmm.
just make sure you're being true to yourself. And if anything feels like a force, it probably is.
Yeah, definitely. I will say this though, I don't even look at competition. And like to me, competition doesn't exist because it's like what's for you is for you.
For you.
And if you're paying attention to them, you're gonna miss the mark because you're not focused. So I don't
On
even
you.
look at everything else. I
Hmm.
just focus on me. Focus on God and focusing on being intentional about
Yeah,
my actions.
and doing things with purpose. You
Yeah.
know,
When you said you
that
can't speak stuff, I was like, yeah, I'm the same way.
I can't.
Yeah.
I just had a meeting with an acting coach from Dallas, and online on Zoom, and I was like, I'm in a blah mood. I just need you to mentor me for a second because
Hmm.
I need to know what's going on with me. Like, ugh. And she was just telling me all this stuff, and she's real honest, and she goes, what is it that you want to be doing right now? I was like, well, working on me. But everything is Zoom and everything. I want to get into some classes eventually, but I want to be safe. But what can I be doing? Everybody's putting out stuff, and she goes, let me stop you right there. Everybody's putting out stuff because they ain't booking stuff. If they were booking stuff, you wouldn't see so many monologues and reenactments and
True.
them redoing scenes. And I think that's cool. She thought it was cool too. I've seen some people that can do some great stuff, and I'm like, dang, I wish I could do that. And I have to tell her that. It's like I had to tell somebody that. And then for her to say, well, that's not your lane.
Yeah.
Oh, you not a reenact a scene kind of person, are you? I'm like, no, I want to sometimes. That's not really my thing. She's like, well, then don't make it your thing. Don't make
Right.
it so I think that it took for just her to say, obviously these people are doing this because they got time. So if you wondering why you're not booking, these people aren't booking either. Because if they were, they would be doing that and not putting out extra stuff because they have the downtime. So
Right.
figure out what it is you want to do, which for me, I discovered I want to do comedy. So action and comedy are my number two genres that I would love to be a part of. Action and comedy. Ooh, that's me.
I can see you doing
But
that.
yes, and so I'm real dry. I'm not a Tiffany Haddish, but I'm telling you, like, it's just sarcasm for me, I guess. But I told her, she's like, well, then you need to work on comedy. You need to work on improv. And so honestly, that's what I just started doing yesterday. So y'all might see some content, some random goofiness coming up. And that's just
Is that
me.
what your shirt says? Sarcasm?
It says my level of sarcasm is to a point where I don't even know if I'm kidding. Like, it's true. Sometimes I say stuff and I'd be like, did I really mean that, or was I trying to be funny? I don't know. So whatever. I saw this shirt and fell in love. So yeah.
Well, I think that's dope, and I do think it's pretty cool that you're working with my frat brother, and I'm so excited about that. I cannot wait to see this trailer.
Ben,
Yes.
I saw a little snippet of it and I was like, oh, okay, Ben, watch out.
But yes,
Yeah,
I'm
the
go
the
ahead.
company, the production he chose to use, they're A1 because that's some good picture. The cinematographer was great.
Hmm.
Sometimes actors are very weary about what they should choose because we don't know how it's gonna look.
Yeah,
And we'd be
yeah.
like, oh goodness, who are you using? Can I ask you what company you using? Because if I gotta be in it and you want to tag, we want to know that in advance. I think he did very well. He was very professional, very upfront about what he wanted. And it was just fun. It was a fun set to be on, honestly.
Good.
I'm so proud of him. I'm so excited. I know he's been waiting a long time.
Yeah. It's cool to see people that cross paths. Like the world is so
Mhm.
small. Networking is I don't even like to say the word networking because that's really not it. But I do feel like our paths cross for a reason.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that y'all work together. That's awesome. So
Yeah, I was excited. I'm still excited. I'm ready to see more.
you believe that um your purpose is a journey or a destination?
Ooh. You know what? I'm gonna have to say it is a journey. Yeah, I'm gonna have to say it's a journey. I am reading for the third time. You probably read this book too. I think his name is Rick. I don't know his last name, but it's called Purpose Driven Life.
Yeah.
Have you heard of it?
Yeah.
It's my
I
third
probably
time
have it right over
reading
here.
it. It's my third time reading it. I would say that it's a journey because for me, I'm figuring out more my purpose is what I do with my time and how I'm living my time here on earth.
Yeah.
The people that I touch, the people that I reach, the people that I can help save, to bring clarity and help to bring clarity and understanding their lives with real life experiences. So for me, I'm gonna say more of a journey because I'm learning things obviously the more and more that I live, and I'm finding that every time I experience something, I've been able to share that experience with someone else, and it
Mm-hmm.
actually helped them in some way, whether that them be like, okay, I thought I was going crazy, or that I was the only person that felt like this or did this, or I felt like because of where I came from that there wasn't a start over for me. I'm like, yeah, girl, like you see the chapter I'm on right now, but if you had caught me in my chapter back in 2009,
Mm-hmm.
maybe you would have thought something different. And people evolve and we change. And I feel like my purpose throughout the life that I'm living until I'm going home is I'm gonna be honest with you, to bring about salvation in a different way.
Yeah.
Well, because I feel like a lot of people are scared, or it's like most people, like most pastors say at church, they feel like they gotta have it together
Yeah.
to come to Christ, and that's the point. It's like come as you actually are, because you obviously can't do it by yourself. And I feel like I do that in a way with my passion for people and my skills that I've learned from my fashion degree. And the fact that I do have an outgoing personality, I've eased my way into people's lives, whether they're my friends now or past coworkers, in a way that wasn't pushy,
Right.
that didn't come off judgmental, that came off very open minded. And it was kind of like, man, is what I'm supposed to be doing? Like the more and more I go on, I'm like, I do it in my own way, and I can't quote you scriptures like a lot of people can do. I've never
Yeah.
been that person. I read my Bible, and there are some scriptures that I have that are favorite that I write down, but I try to keep it as real as I am, because God wants me to do what I do by being Tracy.
Yeah.
And so I just try to figure out how to do that in my way. And to me, that's my purpose. I wouldn't say being an actor is a purpose. I would say what I do with my acting and platform, that is my purpose. How I use
Mm-hmm.
my people skills to reach other people, that is my purpose.
Yeah. That's that. I can agree wholeheartedly with you on all of
Hmm.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's just something we do, but God wants us to do it in our own way too. Like He gave us
Hmm.
that little, how that picture go like that when He's sprinkling that salt.
Uh,
That was God when He was like, "Oh, we're gonna give her a little bit more."
yeah.
All right. Well, my last
Hmm.
question is: if you knew then what you know now, would you change anything?
Girl. Yes. Just a few things, not too much. Um, if I knew now, like I chose my degree in fashion, and I just want to say this for a lot of kids that are going to be the first generation to go to college, like I was. Um, like I said, I was nervous and scared, and it wasn't something that I really thought about in high school. I would urge people to really start thinking about what they want to do, maybe even this summer before your junior year of high school.
Yeah.
Start thinking about what truly makes you happy. What makes you happy? What are you passionate about? Because anything you're passionate about and happy about, you can turn that into a career.
Yeah, you
Anything can be
can.
turned into a career, right? So I would go back and I would start thinking early. I would have actually accepted possibly one of those volleyball offers. Um, but most importantly, when I went to college, it's all about how you play it. So I went to college, got my degree in fashion. It wasn't until I graduated from college that, yes, I was able to get higher dollar amount offered to me versus somebody that had been there, possibly. Maybe they had to work their way there, but their 4 years of starting where they were was like equivalent to my 4 years of in college. So I was in college
Mhm.
getting my degree, and I got to come in at this retail spot and make the same amount that she is. That was her 4 year degree. So now maybe we're making the same amount, but she had to work her way up from there, right? So I
Mhm.
always use that as an example that if I could go back I was doing retail all throughout high school. I mean, all throughout college and even in high school. So really, if I was smart or not smart enough, if I thought about it, I could have went to school and got my degree in marketing, right, to be in public relations, or I could have done sign language, which is another thing I'm really passionate about.
Yeah.
While still working in retail all throughout college, by the time I graduated from college, I could have went in and still possibly gotten an upper level position just from having all those years of experience in
Yeah.
retail. So that way I had two things under my belt. So I'm thinking about getting up ahead. So now I would have had, like, I guess, a degree in marketing or whatever I would have chose. And then I would have also maybe not had a degree, but that degree would have still looked good. If I wanted to get into fashion, I could say, well, I've been a key holder or an assistant manager for all 4 years when I was in college. And now I'm applying for a store manager role. And then if I wanted to leave that role or say work part time in marketing, I could have done both of those things at once. See, I'm always thinking about, back then was always about working, bringing in money, experience. I was all for that all throughout college. And so had I thought about that like I have now, I'd have been like, you know what? When it comes to retail, getting that experience in store is honestly something that you could have done throughout your college years, and you could have pursued a degree in something else. So that way now you're seasoned and experienced in two different things, right?
Yeah.
Unless the only way that doesn't apply is if you don't want to be a manager. If you want to be a buyer and or right off the back a business owner, I would kind of say that maybe, yeah, go get your degree in fashion. So when it comes to fashion, if you want to be a designer, if you want to be a buyer, absolutely you need to go through the school. But if you wanted to just be in management, like something I wanted to do, like management and visual merchandising, you could do that while you're in school, but getting a degree for something else, possibly. That way, now you got two things that you can juggle around. Maybe one year you don't want to do fashion anymore, and you say, I want to commit fully to this marketing company. You have a marketing degree, you can do that. So
Yeah.
that's what I would have went back and changed. I would have worked on two things, thinking about that. But like I said, that goes back to college. I mean, to high school, saying what am I passionate about, and kind of knowing that early on. That's
Yeah.
about it.
We gotta play the long game at this
Mhm.
point. Like I think
Yeah.
at those times we just thinking about the right now, but you have to think about my future self. Because
Mhm.
in this world, we already started like a few steps behind, so we have to be,
Yep.
play chess, not checkers.
Absolutely. So, in Katrina is such a good thing because I'm always like, you know what, now that I done went to school, my niece gonna know what's up and my
Mm-hmm.
daughter gonna know what's up. And
Absolutely.
we in this thing. Now
Yeah.
we in this thing and you're gonna be thinking about it early. We're gonna apply to some dang good universities. We're gonna get this together early.
Yes. And if you need
So
help with anything, that's what I do. So you let me know.
yes, Coach K.
Let me know. Well, I am very proud of you. I'm so excited to see everything that you're going to have
Thank
going
you.
on. I appreciate you for coming on here and giving us all your wisdom and letting these people
Thank
know what's going on.
Absolutely.
So I will let you go, but I thank you again.
Okay, thank
All
you.
right. Talk to you
Bye,
later.
Coach K.
Bye.